Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today we've got something special for you. Now, I could be talking about a myriad of things that are more interesting. I was thinking about reviewing the Codiene record, but then I realized that exactly 0 people are going to watch that. Sorry, Codiene. But today, I thought we'd give a try to the new NAV album. Now, NAV is someone that is absolutely infamous in the music reviewing scene as one of those figures that is, just universally loved. He's right up there with, Death Grips, Swans, Radiohead, NAV. I can't even. So if you are around to see someone hate on NAV, I hate to tell you, there is many videos already doing such thing. Because look, the dude's work has been picked apart by so many people at this point that, like, damn, I'm legitimately just gonna give him a try here. I have not ever liked a NAV project. Don't get me wrong, when I say that I'm giving him a try for that reason, I have not. I am yet to like pretty much anything the dude has, and I don't really have any significant reason to believe this is going to be any different. But look, artistic progression is something that is very present in the music industry, in music in general. It happens, okay? It is a real thing. And, maybe, just maybe, he is going to blow my mind on this one. Maybe he is going to completely exceed my expectations. Now, unlike a lot of my reviews, I exclusively reserve the right to turn this off. Look, if he doesn't do anything on here that doesn't give me any reason to believe this project is promising, I am not going to proceed with it. I'm sorry, that's just all there is to it. That being said, that is not what I hope is going to happen here. I hope that NAV is going to come through with a very convincing project. I am ready for my socks to be knocked off. I am not wearing socks. I don't wear socks in my house. But if I was wearing socks, they should be knocked off by the end of this. That is the expectation that I am going in with. So that being said, we are going to give this a try and see where it goes. We're going in with an open mind. The first track is Good Intentions Intro, and I do want to point out the fact that this intro is longer than the first song on the project, and of course that is always a great sign. Without any further ado, let's hop into this. I kind of like that plucky instrumentation. These vocals are so much better. Still doing that lyrically. It's clearly still very processed and auto-tuned, but this sounds so much better. I don't know what to think of this so far, honestly. Yeah, that line's not doing it for me. Okay, so I'm pausing here because I'm laughing. When he says he's filling his pockets with lettuce, I literally am picturing NAV like stuffing iceberg lettuce into his pockets. Yeah, I'm easily entertained. I'm sorry. That's not. No. So I want to make one thing very clear here. That wasn't mind-blowing. That wasn't amazing, okay? But honestly, this is on par with, like, Eternal Take. There wasn't really anything that I particularly disliked about that. And that is something that is worth note. That's worth something to me. I'm not really sure how he managed it. If this keeps going this way, this might not even be bad. It really might not. Look, the production wasn't anything stellar. It was a pretty typical rap beat, especially for a lot of the things that we've seen in the industry lately. It's pretty much just industry standard. I'd give it that much credit, but you know, there's still nothing wrong with it. NAV has backed some pretty good production. There has been intro tracks that have been very misleading as to what the album as a whole is going to feel like before. That wouldn't be the first time, okay? But we're gonna see where it goes. The next track has Future on it. Promising. This is promising. Ooh, that's kind of dark. Kind of like the percussion here. So I don't really necessarily fuck with the vocal mixing as much here, but it's still pretty nice. So I do want to mention here, I misspoke and said Future. Future is on a later track. This one's Young Thug. And Young Thug is honestly providing a pretty decent feature here. He is a talented vocalist a lot of the time, and I think that his contributions are really adding up on this track. Okay, so I have a lot of the same things to say about that track as I did about the last one. Honestly, not bad. Okay, so I could really use to not hear another line about busting a nut because, like, I don't want that image. Sorry. That's, you know, that's the NAV style. You gotta talk about busting a nut because that's what he does. Young Thug's contributions on that track, decent. Beat, decent. NAV's performance, decent. It was pretty catchy. It lacked structure though. Unfortunately, we could have done for a little bit of a stronger chorus on there, a little bit more of a beat switch up. The next track is featuring Gunna, which is a pretty dynamic duo, I gotta say. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep fucking up the track listing apparently. This song is not the one with Gunna, that's the next one. This one has Future on it. Nonetheless, My Business is the name of this track. Okay, so he's kind of doing a thing on here that I found annoying in the past where he just stuffs too many words into a singular bar and it ends up sounding like a little bit congested in the mix, and I've never really been a fan of that before. I don't really like it here either, but it is a lot less distracting on this track, I gotta say. Okay, so these choruses on the album I've noticed so far are like a little bit too long. They're kind of long-winded, and they don't really have production backing them. Like the beat just stays static while, you know, his flow progresses into this chorus, and there's not really like a big deviation between the verse and chorus, making the whole song sound like, you know, a set of like 4 verses, except 2 of those verses are the same. I'm not really digging that either, but you know, it's little gripes here. That flow some. I love Future's flow on this. Future's feature here is really long. At this point, I feel like we don't really need to hear the chorus again either. Yeah, once again, same things to say about that track as I have. Lyrically, he's not doing a whole lot. There's some slightly clever bars here and there. And, you know, I think I didn't catch any bars about busting a nut there. So, like, we're crossing new ground. Alright, this is some serious shit. Yeah, Future's feature went a really long time on that song. You know, I kind of dig it too. So, this track, if I'm correct, is the dynamic duo, except it's a dynamic trio because it also has Travis Scott, and I also missed that. Yikes, Ben, you are fucking that up. Turks is the name of this track. I think this one was released as a single. I didn't hear it though. And it looks like we got some Future production as well. I'm down. Let's go. Okay, that sounds really fucking cool.
You're on the scene. 20 racks don't feel like nothing to me. Get my piece. But me, I need 80 at least.
I understand that this is just a regular triplet flow, but like, it kind of slaps though.
Bitches, I'm a first vacate. Get thirsty, got water like a leak. My brother got locked and I got paid.
Okay, so he does still drop some pretty corny bars here, like, hardly get thirsty, got water like a lake. This is a stronger chorus. I'm kind of getting what I'm asking for here. Finally, a new flow here. I was about to comment and say that everybody's got the same flow. Once again, 3 instances of the chorus isn't really necessary. I have no complaints about that song. That was kind of a banger. I didn't mind Gunna on there. I usually mind Gunna. Didn't mind NAV on there. Usually mind NAV. So, hey, I mean, pretty decent for what it is. Travis Scott really killed his verse and did add the variation that song was desperately needing by the time he came on. Had a stronger chorus. The 3 instances, like I said, was a little bit unnecessary, but I didn't necessarily mind it that much either. Yeah, it's kind of killing it. And every song has actually gotten progressively better as we've went on. The production from Future on there also really nice, and Future is a really good producer. Really, yeah, that was pretty solid. That was pretty solid. So Brown Boy Good Intentions is the next song. Of course, that's kind of his, that's kind of like his whole thing that he keeps bringing up and gets memed on a lot for, so maybe he's being a little bit self-aware with this track. It's kind of like the whole biracial thing with Logic. We're gonna see what NAV does on this interestingly titled track, and it was transitioned into very, very well, so I do appreciate that. This production kind of gives me Lil Uzi vibes. A lot of his flows are sounding really same on this project, and I'm hoping that doesn't keep up. Just kind of playing it up a little bit here, yeah. So on this track, he's clearly taking aim at his haters, I guess, saying they're living with their mom and dad, envying him, but at the end of the day, saying that they're just jealous. Okay, it's kind of funny because he's playing in the thing that everybody memes on him for. That whole angle is a little bit cheesy, but I guess it's a little bit less cheesy than just kind of coming out and being like, fuck the haters, and not saying anything else about it. So, you know, I mean, there's something to this track, I guess.
You the one I hate the most, brown boy. Think I live around the corner from the brown boy. I mentioned brown boy.
Okay, not one of the better tracks on here so far, but it was kind of clever how he was playing into, you know, the hate that he receives and a lot of the people who are critiquing him. However, when he's saying, like, the narrator of this track is saying that he hates how, like, materialistic he is, basically. Yeah, that's a valid complaint. A lot of the actual complaints that he was making fun of people for having are kind of valid, and that's the one thing about this track that I really didn't care for that much. That song, once again, didn't have like a whole lot of structure to it, and you know, his flow was somewhat similar to everything that he's done on this project so far. The production was kind of there, but it didn't really do anything. It just kind of stayed static at where it was at. Decent production though, I have to say. So the next song on here is Status featuring Lil Uzi Vert. So I was just saying that last song kind of sounded Lil Uzi reminiscent. So we're gonna see what this one has to offer. Or up tempo this time around. That dropped good. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm crazy about that, but
body with expensive clothes. Status bird and I make the shit fly. I can make the bird be the worm out the pot. Fucking on you bitch, I secure my spot. Frog eyes, hop, hop, hop. Come on that wild chop. But you fucking give me top.
Decent Uzi feature on there. I did like that quite a bit. Sorry, my computer is being fucky over here. I kind of enjoyed the production on there. It went a little bit harder than everything else that we've seen on the project so far, so that much was definitely appreciated. I liked what was offered production-wise on there. The whole repeating 3 words flow, I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's kind of got some charm to it, but at the same time, it's really, really simplistic, and I'm not sure what to think of it. But otherwise, another decent track, really. I can already feel myself, even this early on in the project, though, kind of feeling a little bit exhausted by the repetitiveness of this, I guess, and that's always been a really big problem with NAV's music, even before this kind of shift in quality, I guess. I'm not sure if I'm going to be engaged at all by the end of this, but let's keep carrying on. Codeine featuring Gunna is the next track. Second Gunna feature. Dynamic duo. What can we say? More relaxed sound on this one. I gotta say, I appreciate his kind of punchy flow here. This chorus is a little too long again. Yeah, if he's gonna keep having these longer choruses, it really needs to stop being implemented at least 3 times in these songs like this. Pretty much everything I had to say during that song I have already said while reacting to it. There wasn't really a lot to it, but once again, I didn't really mind anything I was hearing. I am yet to find a song on here that is like something that I would specifically want to come back to. I am yet to find a song on here that I am going to be like throwing onto all of my playlists, but I do think that everything he's offering up here is like decent. It's of a, a certain level of quality that I'm appreciating going through this. St. Laurent is the next track, or maybe it's St. Laurent. Not really sure what's up with that. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that St. Laurent is a designer brand that I haven't heard of because I have no idea what that means. No features on this one. Let's see how he does. Wow, this looks long. Oh boy. This one might not be as good. We'll see. Maybe it's a banger. Airier production here. That dropped pretty good. I like the pitch shifting here. I gotta say, I like this really calmed down production and flow here. Like in a kind of street way, this is sort of romantic. And it's really funny saying that about NAV because usually he's just talking about getting as many hoes as possible. And like, I see more dedication in this song. And it's just a little bit more tasteful. It's kind of nice to see. Calming, spacey vibe on that track. And like I said, it seemed uncharacteristically romantic. So, I don't know, he was talking about quarantine on here. Obviously, this is a very recently made cut. I don't know, man, maybe quarantine got him in his feelings a little bit. Decent. Coast to Coast is the name of the next song. Also, no features on this one. I'm not sure if abuse you is referring to a person or like drug abuse, but I'm not a big fan of that bar one way or the other. There's something that just sounds very off about that. Okay, yeah, the whole trend of putting the chorus into the song 3 times and it being needlessly long, like as long as his verses, if not longer, it's a little grating. And another thing that I've noticed is almost on every single chorus, he has one bar on it that's like really, really whack. So I'm, yeah, Kind of cool outro here. Very psychedelic production. Didn't mind that track for what it was. Again, same recurring issues here. I said it in the middle of the song. I'm hoping that we just get some more straight to the point, no bullshit songs that don't repeat the chorus a whole bunch of times, because it's a little hard to deal with that on every single song. I'm thinking that, you know, he's probably gonna have a lot of singles released from this if he hasn't already put a lot of the songs out as singles. And in one small dose, I can see repeating the chorus 3 times, especially if it's one of the more catchier parts of the song. You know, I can see where that could come in handy with that type of ideology. It's just that to make me really want to, you know, keep going with it and keep hearing the rest of it. It's really kind of grating that, you know, halfway through this project, I'm already tired of the formula, and I'm hoping that it doesn't keep up doing the same thing, having what I'm kind of recognizing as the same songs. Run It Up is the name of the next song, and this appears to actually have a posthumous feature from Pop Smoke, and I do think that his passing was really unfortunate, and, you know, it's really sad to see more things like that happening in the music industry, especially the rap industry. But, you know, I am still excited to hear his verse on here. He's had some really solid verses in the past. Let's see how this goes. I really like that. Very moody. This production, I really fuck with that. This might just be the best chorus on the project so far. Really feeling the vibe on this one, honestly. Cause you came from the bottom. Diamond touch on my neck. Live for you getting money, nigga. Why you hate funnies? No, y'all. No, I ain't trolling. I like those keys in the back there, dude. Is this gonna get a little bit of a switch up? No, that was just an outro. That's definitely one of my favorite tracks so far. Good Pop Smoke feature, can't complain about that. He didn't overdo it, putting the chorus in too many times. I think it was only twice on that track. NAV had a really good flow on there, be honest with ya. Had a very nice beat. That was definitely one of the best beats we've seen on here, for sure. Very moody track, that one as well, and there is actually getting a little bit of variation. I'm feeling like there's a little bit more variety on here now, and that's good to see, and I like where that's going. The next track also has Young Thug on it, and you know, Young Thug don't really miss, so like let's go. Yeah, all these beats actually drop really well. Okay, nobody stole NAV's sound. This chorus is pretty catchy. There we go. Hitting them notes like Thugger does. Young Thug was definitely the best part of that song, but I think that NAV's chorus was actually pretty decent on there as well. Pretty catchy song, decent production. I don't have anything to complain about on there, but it didn't really stand out either. Not one of my favorite tracks so far, just because I don't think it was very memorable. Recap featuring Don Toliver is the next track, and I'm hoping that we get Don Toliver on this track and not Don't Oliver. Okay, he sounds alright on here. Interesting that he opens up the track. There's not a whole lot to this beat. It's kind of funny to hear somebody on a track with NAV actually sounding more auto-tuned than him. He doesn't sound bad on here though. I don't mean to say that. I did like the Don Toliver chorus on there, and I think that it's actually providing a lot of variety to have somebody else do the chorus on there. That track didn't drag on too long like some of them did either, but I also don't really think that it was very memorable, I guess. I think maybe they could have done a little bit more, progressed the song a little bit more than they did, done something a little bit more crazy with it. She Hurtin' is the name of the next song.
I know you got some insecurities, your last man left you scarred.
Very moody production again. I'm digging it.
It's working if you're trying to make a mess. Swerving, put the top down, we swerving. Searching for a girl like you, I've been searching. Curved it, my friend in your DM, you curved.
That's pretty nice.
I'm more than what you see on the surface. Not in common, almost everything that we do is the same. Watch for a different color Birkins, the way you make me feel is.
It's so weird saying this twice in a NAV reaction, but he's weirdly romantic here. It's very uncharacteristic to see him seem like he actually gives a shit about the emotions of the person he's with. But like, I mean, that's a good moral shift. I like the lack of misogyny in some of these tracks.
She hurtin', you tryna make it sad, she hurtin', virgin, you like
the way the beat kind of drops out is really nice too. It makes it feel more dramatic. Unfortunately, NAV is kind of monotone still, but I mean, hey, that's his thing. That's definitely on the better side as far as production goes. I don't think NAV's presence on the track was really there, and he seemed, you know, particularly monotone on that one. Not that he doesn't pretty much always sound monotone, but there it was on like really strong. I guess I'm not sure how to feel about that one entirely because it also had one of my favorite set of lyrics as far as this album goes. But yeah, can't complain. Overdose is the name of the next song. Beat goes pretty hard. I'm glad we saw a little bit of a switch up in the flow here because that was definitely necessary. This does feel a little one note, but you know, his lyrics are better here again. I didn't necessarily find anything wrong with that song in and of itself. Felt a little one note all the way through, but I did like his lyrics kind of, you know, about his come up, which isn't necessarily new subject matter for NAV, but it was well executed there. Talking about, you know, back where he came from, certain things happening, talking a lot about, you know, his past, and I appreciate that from a certain standpoint. The production was very airy on that track, didn't really do a whole lot, didn't have a lot in the way of progression, but you know what was there on that song I guess I found to be decent. Not one of the more memorable cuts again though. So surprise surprise, I recorded a longer video and shit stopped recording. Yeah, so I'm really not on my game. I'm not on my A game today. As very evident, of course. So I just listened to the last two tracks and so I guess I'm glad that these are the ones that I lost because I don't really have that much to say about them anyways. It's really like we got the same song 3 times in a row, and I really think that this could have been a much trimmer track list just because shit's getting really repetitive again. Like, this could be almost half of the amount of songs and I would have gotten just as much enjoyment out of this so far. And the fact that there's not any features on this back end is just like making NAV's auto-tune delivery really grating as it does. But I do like his lyricism on here. It's a lot more introspective and serious than usually you see from him, and I guess I'm really digging that. So I don't know, man. This track has the last feature on the project. It is featuring Lil Durk, and I guess I can't really say that I've been that big of a fan before, but hey, I mean, we're gonna get a switch up at least. Maybe this is gonna be a lot less moody of a track. I mean, at least that's my prediction, I guess. We're gonna see where this one goes. Let's see what's up. Okay, I like this production so far. Let's wait for it to drop. Okay, that could have dropped a lot harder. Decent flow here.
Schools they kicked us out instead of trying to understand us. I pulled up class, I had to man up.
Yeah, the speed is just a little bit too bare bones for what's happening on here.
Five pack, we taking at least 4 lives, yeah. Ain't talking about exhaust when I say we got 4 pipes, yeah. My city feel like Chirac, gotta keep my poop. I feel like a tarantula. Go to Toronto, live with a killer, cause I can't bring no dummies.
His vocal inflection is still kind of weird.
The littlest nigga walk around with a Tommy gun. He couldn't get no good time for his case, he was fighting bodily harm. Once you hit the fast system, just know your body. Let the niggas name their own weed, that's why the price is wrong. Definition of my brother, right or wrong.
I don't know. You got the whole 3 choruses thing. I've been complaining about it this whole time, so you guys already know what's up. That one was forgettable as fuck, honestly. Like, there wasn't a lot to latch onto. Like, still, we're on the second to the last track. I am just astonished that there hasn't really been a song that stood out to me as particularly bad. And that wasn't really any exception. I don't know if Lil Durk's contributions were really much of anything. I thought that it dragged on too long, but NAV had a decent flow. The production was there. I mean, it was kind of bare bones and skeletal. Like, really, really mid on that track. It just right in the middle. Very mediocre, I guess you could say. But still not bad. It's just really forgettable. Proud of Me is the last track. And dude, I gotta give him some credit for putting a question mark in. There are so many instances of like question marks where question marks should be. There's not question marks on like song titles. There's too many instances of that. So thank you. Thank you, NAV. You're moving things in the right direction. He just shouldn't be allowed to compare things to wetness. Comparably, this is some decent singing, really.
Like the bad bitches coming every time that I'm stepping out. Lately I feel like the highest currency and the down. You should stay down. I just hope that you're proud of me now.
Pretty decent closing track on here. Like, it's nothing to write home about, though. And I guess that's what I would say about a lot of this record, is unfortunately there just weren't that many, like, standout moments. The whole thing was just a little bit one note to really appreciate it that much. This is significant improvement. Like, really, really significant. The vocal mixing on here was a lot better, and the effects on his voice were a lot better. It just didn't sound quite so robotic. And that's something that I really appreciated all across this thing, is that you can actually tell that he has a certain vocal inflection, or he's hitting certain notes when he's singing on this project. I think that it had a lot of really good features too. It's just that I wish it wasn't so front-loaded with the features, because having all of the solo tracks kind of stuffed in at the end, it made it feel like the last leg of the project was the same song a whole bunch of times. The production on this album wasn't phenomenal, but it was fine, and there were a few standout moments. I really did like that one Future beat that was on here. It's just that I think a lot of these could have been a little bit more creative with the beats. And I do really like NAV's lyrical progression that he showed on this album. There were a lot more moments on here where he's talking about more serious and introspective issues, and it sounds like he's actually in a committed relationship in some of these songs. You know, I mean, I could take it a lot more seriously. And really, I guess that's something that I would say about this whole project, is that it feels like it just felt a lot more mature, I guess, than I was expecting. And my expectations are severely exceeded. If you told me in 2020 that NAV was going to drop a way better project than Lil Baby and Joyner Lucas, I would have called you fucking crazy. But that's exactly what happened here. And yeah, quite frankly, I'm quite impressed. If I had to rate it right now, it would probably be about a 5+ out of 10, just because it's very, very samey across the whole track list. And that same song that we did here is a nice song. It's just that you can't really do that 17 times on this track listing and really expect me to stay all that engaged. It wasn't bad. This is on the better end of average. This is the lowest thing I can still say is above average. I will put it like that. Let me know what you thought of this album down in the comment section below. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and leave a like on the video if you did like what you saw today. That is always greatly appreciated, and it's also greatly appreciated if you do hit the subscribe and turn on notifications for more music related content coming your way very soon. But that is just about going to wrap it up for this one, and I will see you in the next video.